Hey guys, how are y'all today? I was just laughing at Debbie's comment from the hot as heck Southwest Georgia. It is warm this week in the South, yes, for sure. And Robin, home of the new hurricane. Yes, you did have a hurricane and a tropical storm and an earthquake the other day, didn't you? I hope you weathered it pretty well. It was actually, I mean, that was kind of astounding that something happened that in that area. Y'all are getting to see work, Cindy. This is what I look like when I'm working every day, and I am trying to get out of town, trying to get videos edited. Heather posted today. What's Cindy working on? Ooh, just staying, keeping afloat, staying above water, keeping this head right here. I am back from Brother Experience. We rebranded this year. It's no longer back to business. It's Brother Experience. For those of you that aren't in the know, we did release some new products, but no new software was released this year. However, Patty, I do believe, has your printer come in yet? Um, she she purchased a print Moda printer, and I will actually get to lay hands on one this week because that's one of the demos I'm doing at Heidi's on Thursday. So we're getting people here from Germany and from England and from Brazil. Wow, it's kind of crazy. So it's good to see you, Sandra. Yes, I mean it's kind of crazy how many people are rolling in here from other places. Y'all want to see me? What's up with that? So I don't have a lot to talk about today. No one to send questions in. Y'all are, but I didn't want to leave town without touching base with you guys this week because I feel like I've been totally out of it. Um, my product that I released this year was the PR1X. It is the new Entrepreneur One. It is a single needle. It does not replace my persona over here. It's an addition to the persona. The difference between the two, the persona has an 8x8 and it has an LED drop light to allow you to line things. The PR1X, all the designs are approved for commercial use. It has an 8 by 12-inch embroidery field, so they massively expanded that embroidery field. And it has a 2-point laser positioning feature on it that is pretty darn slick. I'll have to say, I really was having lots of fun with that guy. He has won a definite place in my heart. We have to name him, though. I called him the Grand Prix last week because PR1X doesn't could translate into things that are not so nice. So I kind of like he was the Grand Prix guy. So yeah, Sharon, I just didn't want to go another week. Actually, I won't be here next week. That's how crazy life is. I'm going to St. Louis tomorrow, and I leave St. Louis to go to Bartlett for another taping experience. So that's where I'm at. No, Patty, they did not tell me why they didn't add wireless to it. I would have loved for that to have happened. That was one of the first things that popped out of our mind, but I don't think they wanted to expand its brain that much, or it was too much of an overhaul to do it. So you know, and Debbie, it's not necessarily a new version. Your persona is a wonderful machine. You don't need to replace it. It's a great little machine. This one's just a little different and a little expanded. It's in the entrepreneur line, so it's more along the business line. And this one is more in the hobbyist category. The difference is, but one of the big things I will say is if you have a persona and you're into quilting, you can add the free motion kit to the persona. You cannot do that to the PR1X. It is not a hobby machine, so you can't add that to it. So that, I mean, that's kind of a nice little feature. And I had a blast with it. I had a lot of fun with my dealers last week. Hopefully that my enthusiasm will translate to you guys when it gets to the store because it's a lot of fun. And I mean, we had a good time. They learned a lot about the machine and a lot about the differences between the two machines. Um, let's see here. What have we got? I'm sorry about that, Sandra. We hate it when you guys don't get the fun stuff, but you can always travel over here and we can arrange to get it to you. So, let's see here. What else have we got? Um, Shirley, I believe Missouri is going to beat you this week. My understanding, it's going to be over 100 degrees and the humidity level is going to be absolutely miserable. I can't wait to go to Missouri in August. It is probably as good as Texas in August. Texas was absolutely so very, very warm. Um, if yes, it is possible to turn a PNG file into an embroidery in PE Design 11. You bring in your artwork and you convert. You basically you can either trace around it or you can try auto punch. Auto punch is never your best option, I'll be honest. But if it's something that's simple, auto punch may do a fine job of it. The only thing that you may have a challenge with is some PNG files have transparent backgrounds. By that I mean they have a black background that gets added to them once they're saved because there's no background. So sometimes tracing around those is challenging. If I can find a PNG file, I will look for one in just a minute. I do have a couple of questions that were asked, actually one question that was asked, and I know I've answered this before, what the differences between PE Design 11 and 10 are. And I don't remember which episode, Patty. I was looking through the PDF form that you had created for me, and I just ran out of time. So I'll just kind of relate to you what's new. What is the difference between PE Design 10 and PE Design 11? The biggest one is that you get decorative fills in PE Design 11 and you do not get those in PE Design 10. You also get what we call the stitch design factory. So if you wanted to create a stitch to sew on your sewing machine, you can create it in the software and transfer that over to your sewing machine. That is an exclusive for PE Design. Palette 11 did not get that. We got the flexible spiral fills. We received, what am I forgetting, guys? Flexible spiral fills. Applique got an upgrade. Applique got an upgrade. You no longer have to do it one letter at a time. You can do an entire word. It's much faster, quicker, and easier to deal with. Those are the biggest differences between the two softwares. The base didn't change that much. They rearranged one little item. Hold on, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let me come over here. In this area right here, so let me put two things up here so you can see what I'm talking about. So in the edit area, they moved these three items out of edit, out of underneath the arrange tool and moved them out on their own. That's one of the big differences. Oh, the background fill button is the bomb. That was new to 11 as well. So you no longer have to do, let me see if I can explain this. So if I was in a different version of PE Design, in order to make this not so, if I were putting a background on it, in order to make it not so, I would have to create an outline around it. So I would go into the embroidered patch wizard. I would have it not so, and I would take the distance from my original pattern down as far as I could do, and you'll see how it creates an outline around the area. And then I come in and I put in my rectangle or whatever shape you're planning on putting and choose whatever fill it is that I want to put in. So before this version, we had motifs. You didn't have decorative fills. So we'll put a motif or a stippling. You can go either way. Now you would have to come in and select your shape and then select your rectangle over here in the sewing order window and click the select patterns icon. From there, you went up to modify overlap, set whole sewing. And then that removes the background around it. Then you turn off this stitch, change it to not sewn. That's how you would have done that in the previous versions. Okay. In 11, you have the background fill tool and you just tell it what you want it to fill. Choose whether you want echo, stippling, decorative fills, crosshatch stripes, whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and do a decorative fill. Pick my fill. Hold on a second. Let's find some. Yay, where did I put them? Let's go to the ones in the program. Where is the program? There we go. C drive, program files, x86, brother, P design 11, and pattern. So you pick a decorative fill, you click OK, and you size it if you want to, click OK. Your background has been removed. So that is a huge difference between the two programs. They made that so much easier, so much quicker, and you don't have to struggle with it. And I really liked the fact that they took that into mind. We didn't have to struggle in it. And I agree, the Persona and the Durkee frame give you 8 by 4, basically 8 by 14 inches, so it works great. Let's see here, what else we got? Cindy, you're having fun. So the Luminaire didn't get love this year. They gave it quite a bit of love last year, so this year it didn't get it. They try to focus on one product a year. The Stellaire had been ignored for quite a while, so it getting a little love this time was nice. It got matrix copy, it got stitch tapering, they got some new decorative fills. Trying to think what else. They got the no-sew feature, so they got quite a few little additional things added to that machine. They got the new in plus foot. They got the new foot controller, and they gave them they put in a magnetic hoop. It doesn't come with a machine. It's an optional purchase, but it may come with the upgrade. I don't remember which. But it does not come in the box with the machine. But there is now a 7 by 12 inch magnetic flat frame, which is quite nice. Yeah, the ambassadors got to have a blast. The rest of us were working. They actually had, well, I mean, when you're in test drive, it's a whole different experience. You're there interacting with the dealers, and you get more time to talk, and you get a little bit more in between times. It's a little bit different. When you're in a classroom, it's like nonstop, bell to bell teaching. You're just going the entire time. So you basically taught 2 classes, went to lunch, came back and taught some more. So, but yes, Marilyn, they'll be happy to sell you a new PR1X. So let's see here. What else we got? Oh, he said you can get the print Moda. I think that's going to be fun. I actually had, one of the brother people print me out one of my niece and her new husband. So I have a nice print of that. I haven't gotten it put into anything yet. And then I've got one of my great nephew. Gosh, I have a great nephew. That's crazy. You don't become a grand when you're an aunt. You become a great. So evidently I'm a great aunt. And he's about 18 months, and they got him playing. It's a candid shot. He's playing in a river, and it's so cute. You can see the reflection of his clothes. Let me see if I can hold on. I may be able to share that with you. Let's see here. What am I wanting? Reflector. I had a panicked moment yesterday, guys. My computer did not want to restart. I was in total panic mode. This was not good. I don't need you to share Class Hub, but I do want to do this. Let me see if I can find his little picture. Well, I can share some other pictures while we're at it. So let's see here. Allow. Oh, nope, I don't want you to hide. Show. So there's Jimbo. He's the guy who designed the PR1X. And he's a hoot. Jimbo's a fun. And then here's Miss Alexis. Oops, I'm sharing the wrong things. I guess it would help if I shared my screen, right? So this is Mr. Jimbo. He's the one who designed the PR1X. It was his product line this year. Jimbo used to be with us here in the U.S. He is now back in Japan, and this was his product line this year. And that's him and Alexis. Let's see. I think I finally got him to take a picture of me and Jimbo. We had fun. It was a good time had by all. Let's see here. You're getting a lot of those. So evidently Alexis took quite a few pictures. Let me see. Here's one of our dealers. This is Joel. He decided instead of making a pillowcase, he was making a bib. And there he's got his puffy foam hat on. This guy was hysterical. He was our entertainment one of the nights. Let's see here. It's not going to let me do that. Let's see here. That's our classroom. We had 18 of those bad boys in the room stitching all at once. And the last day I actually got to take a picture of the people in the room. So that was kind of unusual. Let me see if I can find. Let me stop sharing my screen here for a second. Let me see if I can find the baby's picture. I know where I'll find it. This one right here. Come on, open. I'm looking. Hold on. Where did it go? Come on, open. Well, y'all can see a little bitty one of it. So there he is. This is my little bitty picture of my little nephew. And you can see his reflection in it, but for some reason it's not letting me grab it. They were out bicycling on it. Oh well. Not going to let me pop it up. So y'all got to see my text messages there. All right, let's see here. Let me stop sharing my phone. Y'all don't need to see that anymore. And let's see what we've got. Oops. Stop sharing. There we go. Now let me come back here. Oh, yes. 80s this weekend. That's sweet. Yes, they did do a Stellaire on your upgrade, which, and seriously, that one was due a little love. Trapunto method for looking to do some towels. So are you talking trapunto or are you talking embossing? Trapunto is when you have a center and then you echo out around it and you have little waves. Embossing is when you just dig it all in except for the letters. So if you pop up and answer that, I'll answer you here in just a minute. And I will go into the PNG file first as well. Yes, there is somewhere. Actually, that may be BES4. I don't think I have a document for P design. So Trapunto is what everybody is saying for. So let's see here. Sharon, you never know. Let's see here. Kelly, it will also work as a regular printer. So it doesn't, so if I wanted to print something from my computer, I could. It works with Artspira, and that is for the roll feed stuff that really makes it nice. But you can use it as a regular printer, as is my understanding. It's a creative printer in Artspira, but it can be used, it's got two trays. It can be used as a regular printer. Decorative files for where do you post your completed projects? You can post them on my timeline. You can post them in the Education Connection, post them wherever you want to. Tag me, tag what, I'm not sure which projects we're talking about, but post them wherever you want to. New decorative fills. Well, I'm almost done stitching out minimum recommended sizes for you. So when I get back from St. Louis, that's one of the first things on my list after getting my expense reports done, because I would like to get paid. And I haven't done expense reports in 2 months. So it's time for me to get paid. It's pretty bad when you're too busy to put in how much you've worked. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if it was wider, but you can do an entire roll. It's not for yardage. It's more for specialty stuff. So let's see here. And that is true. I mean, a large portion of our market is we are trying to encourage a younger generation to come along with us, but that doesn't mean we want to leave the old behind. We don't want to leave those that have been following us forever. We want you all to join us on this journey in new technology. So, you know, it's kind of like a scan and cut. Kind of, it makes things fun. And, I'm never probably going to print yardage in print Moda. It's probably not going to happen. But for those specialty things that I want, that I don't want to wait, I don't want to send it off to Spoonflower. I don't want to sit there and wait for that to come to my house, or I'm missing a specific piece of fabric and I can just print it real quick there. I can take a picture of it and fix that little piece that I needed. I don't need a ton. I need just a little, so I can get that done. And just memorabilia, things that mean something to you and somebody else. I'm thinking the wedding picture, instead of putting it in a quilt of some sort, I'm thinking about putting Mod Podging it to a piece of canvas, basically a paint canvas. I'm thinking that may be fun. You checked it out when you should have been paying attention to the quilting, huh? Oh, for sure. I mean, I saw the black screen of death yesterday, and I was absolutely freaking out. Let's see here. Oh, Patty says the show from the 25th of April has some of the difference between P Design 10 and 11. Thanks, Patty. You are just on it, girl. Okay, so he wants embossing. I'll show both of them, but let me go and show converting a PNG if I can find one on my computer first, okay? So let me flip over to my screen and we will go to the new page. And let's see here. Let's go to the image tab and we'll choose Auto Punch right now, and I will find a PNG file. Let's see here. There might be one in here in my Cindy Facebook Lives. Let's see what we have. I've got a JPEG. Process is the same. I have a JPEG. I have a PNG. Oh, come on. Wake up. Here. There's a carrot. So we'll go ahead and touch next, and we'll touch next again. So it didn't find everything that I want. So I'm going to, first of all, change my number of colors down to 2 and have it retry. That's a better option. And let's have the segmentation sensitivity. Let's see what happens when we do that. Ooh, that's getting better. Let's go one more time. There we go. And I'm going to choose create lines and turn my black into a line. And finish. So now I would come in and I would color it in. I like to use black and white a lot when I'm scanning, just simply because, oh, I actually guess I want that green. It makes life easier on this end because I can always color things in, but it's much more challenging to get a good color piece of artwork. So then if I wanted to, I could come in and change these to lines, to running stitches. And you can have it run 1 time, 2 times, however many times you want it to go around in layout and editing. That is your choice. I would probably come in and finesse this a little bit, but that's your basic steps of how to do that. Now, embossed lettering. Let me zoom out here and let's see here. Let's grab a letter. And I'm going to make it bigger. And Control M. So your easiest way would be, in a version 11, this is your easiest way. Background fill. Bam. Oh, actually, let me do an A instead of an H. Oops. Put you back. This way you see the inside and the outside together. The easiest way to do it would be a background fill and tell it you want the inside as well as the outside. Touch next. You don't have to have Actually, you can choose anything for this. I'm just going to leave it as decorative fill and finish and show you what I would do. So we're going to go ahead and say, okay, now that we have that decorative fill, we can come and grab those 2 center points and go and choose a motif. This is my preferred method. Then go to my sewing attributes and let's find us a motif. The one that I think does the best is this one right here, motif number 31. And I usually will take it down in size. Let me see how big it is. I usually take it way, way down. And I will overlap it sometimes. So I'll change my vertical spacing a little bit so that it kind of overlaps itself. And then simply turn off the sewing attributes for your letter. Now, if you want an outline around there so that it gives it a distinctive outline, you can come in, change it from not sewn to a triple stitch, and that basically gives you a distinctive outline around it. That's your quick and easy way of doing that. And this is what it looks like. You could also, instead of doing the motif stitch, if you don't like the motif stitch, you can choose a net fill. And I would choose this guy right here. And that spacing's fine. That would work really nicely. So your choice, whatever you would like to do. So that's how I would do an embossed letter. Now, if you want it inside a shape instead of inside of a rectangle, let's undo all that. Take it back to our A. Actually, let me just select that and get rid of it. All right. If I want it in a rectangle instead, let me change my hoop size a little bit. Actually, let's leave it at that and make this a little bit smaller. I can grab one of my shapes. So let's say I want an octagon. Now this one's kind of magical as well. We're going to hold our shift key down and make it big and Control M to move it to the middle and do the same thing with our A. So it's now in the middle. And we're going to turn off the fill for this. And it's got a running stitch, so we're okay. Now we can go in and choose background fill. This time let's click, let me cancel. Click off of everything first. This time you can just choose the inside of that octagon and the A, touch next, go ahead and say, okay, don't worry about the rest of it. And then come and grab that fill over here. And once again, pick what you want. When I do it that way, usually I will come in on this last piece and I will have that be a zigzag stitch. So just depends on what you want to do, and then turn off how you're stitching for your A. And once again, I would probably put in either a satin stitch or a triple stitch running around that inside part. Just depends on what you want to do. Did that answer your question? So that's a mighty easy way of doing it. Let's see here. You know, I probably did. But meeting them as in saying, hi, I'm Cindy and you're Molly and Heather, I probably didn't. I probably met them. I probably saw them. They were probably through my class, but I don't know that we ever interacted that way. I met some new dealers, but not a ton of new dealers. No, it does not have a scanner in it. It is a printer. I'm not sure what My Design Studio is either. It's probably an app on the phone as well. Yes, BES4 is the latest BES4 is the most advanced version of BES that we have. It has power packs. However, it is discontinued because they can no longer get the wireless cards and stuff for it. So if you have a dealer out there that has one, I would buy it up because it's kind of cool. Let's see here. Yes, there will be apples in the new decorative fills. There will be apples. There will be pumpkins. There will be acorns and witches' hats. And Diane, right now, I can't answer that. I mean, if you have inkjet printable fabric, yes, you could use it. Is it going to be able to print the same width? Probably not. Okay. Um, the limited size. Okay, so the Japanese are always very careful about telling us what we can and can't do with things when we push those boundaries. I personally have not washed anything. Okay, I haven't tried. I haven't had it. Mine's arriving sometime while I'm gone, so I just haven't had it. But what I have seen, there is very minimal transfer. We have rinsed some stuff while we were out and doing the photo shoot on it. The video shoots that we did on that, we did rinse some. We did play with it. We did touch our hands on it. I would not make baby's clothes out of it by any means. I don't know that I would wear it, but there's transfer on any inkjet printable fabric, so you do have to make sure you heat set things. You don't want to rinse it before you actually put it in something. So it's very much like any other inkjet printable fabric. That's cool. Um, the special kits they're sold separately. I mean, they basically did, what am I trying to say? Consumable. What am I trying to say? There's a consumables kit that has stabilizer, bobbins, and needles. There is a monogramming kit, a sports kit, and an apparel kit. Those are all three separate purchases. Look at it to see, because like the monogramming kit and the apparel kit may both have the M clamp frame in them, I'm pretty sure. So you wouldn't want to get two of those. You would just buy, if you wanted the small compact frames in addition, you would just add those instead of buying a whole kit, because you don't need two M frames, because that stays on the machine and you just slide things in and out. It's great. Yes, I think that's a great way to repair some fabrics that have worn and gotten torn, because I mean, you can print on demand. You don't have to wait for something to go there and come back. Yeah, I think we all would, but their brother also came out with a sublimation printer. It's just not with our dealers yet, and it has not hit the market yet. I've seen in other border stitches with the use of faux. We do not have a faux marrow stitch, okay? And unless I had one to stitch out, I couldn't possibly tell you how to fake that one. But we do not have that. Yeah. They should be. Yeah, there's laminating stuff. So if I were doing a baby bib, I would laminate it. If I were planning on putting it on a tote bag or something that I was going to carry and was going to get a lot of use to it, I would probably use the laminate for it. But I don't know that you necessarily have to. If it's, yeah, you could do photo quilts with it. You're not going to wash that. So if it's going to hang on a wall or lay somewhere, you're not going to, places that you're not going to wash, feel free to use it. Um, so anyhow, all right. So the other one was Trapunto, and then I'm going to call it a day because I do have some other, unless there's other things. Honestly, I can't answer that question. At this time, we have nothing. So, I mean, even if I knew, guys, here's the thing. You know that if I know something's coming down the pipeline, I can't tell you about it in advance. If I do that, I violate my contract. So anything, coming in the pike, there's always something in the works. Okay. Whether it makes it this year, next year, or the next year, who knows? But there's always something in the pipe. I would, development's always happening. They're a manufacturing company, and if they're not manufacturing anything to sell, they're not making any money, and they don't do this out of the goodness of their heart. They are they've got to pay us. So they've got to make some money, which means they're always coming out with something new. Just like any technology company, they're always coming out with something new. I just bought a brand new computer, a laptop to travel with. Is it obsolete before it made it to my house? Of course it is, because they're always coming out with something new. If they're not making any money and they can't stay in business. That's just the way of the world. All right, so the last one was Trapunto. Okay, so I'm going to show you an easy way that I would say to do Trapunto. Let's get rid of this part right here. Um, let's see. Trapunto. Forgot what I was doing. So I would do a background fill on this one as well. So let's go in here and let's choose a square hoop. Let's choose the 8x8. I would do a background fill, and I would choose the echo fill on this one and touch next. I would change it to a running stitch or a triple stitch. You can pick whichever one you want. Choose your run pitch the way you want it, and then click OK. Offset spacing is the distance between your rows, and if you want them more puffy, I would increase that because that will make it puff in between. Clipped is going to clip the edges. If you want it to just echo, it just echoes. Oops, which doesn't do much for this one at 20. So I would do echo clipped on this one and say OK. Now, is there another way that this could be done? Yes. So let's undo that. You can grab your letter and you can go to your text tool and you can say convert to outlines. Now it's a shape. So now I can grab my outside shape and click the select tool and say create offset lines. Offset lines allows me to go outside and inside. I can choose rounded corners or clipped corners, and I can choose how far apart my things are spaced. Let's say we want to go 15 and we want 5 repeats. There's what you get. So each of those would be an area that would puff up. You would have basically, these are the lines and these are the puffs. Now this is a satin stitch right now, I do believe. Yep, zigzag. So I would probably change that to a triple. It's too big for my hoop, so I would need to adjust that. Most of the time you're not doing an odd shaped item like a letter, but that's how you would get a trapunto effect. And thanks, Anne. Yeah, don't forget to like and share because that is always a good thing. Exactly. I mean, usually PE Design comes out. We get a new version of PE Design when we get a new top of the line. That's traditionally been the way things work. Every time a new TOL comes out, that's when we usually get new bells and whistles. So if you remember, 11 came out when we got the Luminaire. So that's been 5 years now. We've had version 11 for 5 years. And that's generally what we do when a new version of PE Design comes out. It's with a new top of the line. So, and I can do a live with new tips and tricks. Remind me when I get back in 2 weeks. And I promise I will do that. I mean, there's keyboard shortcuts would be one of my first things to tell you is Control M is for middle. M is for middle. And that's one of the things. Anytime you want something to go to the center of your hoop, Control M will pop it in there. No, I did not get to play with lining quilt blocks on the Stellaire. But it has the 2-point positioning. It would be pretty darn easy. I will sit here and tell you it's sweet and accurate. Thanks, Patty. It is very sweet and very accurate, that 2-point positioning. It's the same, except it's a dot on the Stellaire versus it's a crosshair on the PR1X and the PR680W. But it is pretty darn, I'm impressed. I will have to say I'm impressed. And yes, I have tons of great videos on YouTube or Facebook. There are more than 3 years worth now. So go back and have fun. Yeah, edge to edge on the Luminaire is lots of fun and it is very easy. Oh, Um, nope, it's not coming to this machine. So because that's a Stellaire. And I will say, I was pretty impressed with the crochet lace. I thought, how are these things going to stick together? But I may do a live on how you might be able to do those, because I kind of examined the digitizing on those. And it's pretty impressive the way that they were put together. But there's a lot of stitches compacted into a very small area. Patty, for just a week, Patty, I think more than a week. I think you can have a lots of fun. They're under live videos. They're under my face on Facebook. They're both live videos there and on YouTube. So there are more on Facebook than there are on YouTube, because initially I did not stream to both locations. We could only stream to one or the other. So there's a lot of repeating information, though. I mean, it's if somebody has a question and I've already answered it, we go ahead and answer it again, just because that's the right thing to do. Okay, guys, be sure and send in questions closer to the Labor Day time frame, but I will happily entertain those between here and then. So, but I will forget them before then. And I know that somebody has asked about outlining items. Okay, so I am going to do one last thing before I get off of here. So let's say I have a head. We're going to call this the head. Oops. What did I just do? I hit the wrong circle. And we're just going to put it in a regular fill stitch. This is going to be a purple head. I really don't care. There we go. So you have an outline on this. And if you wanted it to start at a specific spot or end at a specific spot, you do your entry and exit. Now, how I handle this is I turn off my fill to figure out the L is the line, the R is the region. But this allows you to adjust where things start stitching and where they end. So if I'm wanting it to connect up with something else, then I will adjust where that outline starts and where it ends. This is how you can manipulate that. Now, will it possibly run over a section twice? Yes, this little section right here is going to get some extra love if I watch it stitch. So you saw it went over that a couple of times because of where it is. The other way that I can control that is if I draw it myself, where I start drawing is where it's going to start stitching. So if I drew a circle myself, why is my, oh, undo. It does help if you choose the drawing tool. If I draw a circle myself, where I start clicking, so if I wanted it to be start over there, I would start over there clicking. Don't judge my circle today, guys. That's pretty good. Not too bad of an oval. And then I can come in and manipulate it, obviously. Oops. But when I go to my entry and exit point, where I started drawing is where it's going to end. So it's going to start and stop in the same spot, okay? So, nope. L is for line, R is for region. So L1 is the entry, L2 is the exit, R1 is the entry for the region, R2 is the exit for the region. So y'all all learned something new today. Okay, guys. And Patty, yes, we have Patty has also compiled a list in the Education Connection of all the lives up till sometime, maybe May, that have been done and what's covered in those. And Heather and I answer questions all the time there. Heather's no longer with Brother, and this has always been our group on our own time, on our own dime. So we don't get paid for it. We don't get any compensation. It's not like that. It's a group that we try to help you. So and everybody, if we're not there to answer the questions, other people pop in and answer, including Patty. So I would highly suggest you join that if you're not a member of it already, because if you have a Brother product, we answer it and you'll get an answer that's correct. If we don't know the correct answer, we will go find out. Okay. Oh, so Patty said she's all the way caught up through July. So she's better than me. Hopefully I can remember what we did today. So yes, there are tons of people out there. Sandra answers questions. I mean, everybody in that group is very active and they're very helpful. So if we don't know, if we are not answering immediately, somebody will pop in or they'll say Cindy, and it will notify me, Cindy, can you answer this? Or Heather, do you know this answer? And we'll pop in and answer. So I mean, we want you to get the correct information. There's too much misinformation out there. And we don't want you to do things that will mess up your machines. That's just not the way we want it to work. So, all right, guys. And there are some other brother educators that are in there. I know that Barb Michaelachek's in there. I'm pretty sure Kathy Stipe's in there. There's probably quite a few of them in there. So if we don't know it, one of them will. So anyhow, guys, I will see you all when I get back in a couple of weeks. So it'll be the Tuesday after Labor Day. And you all have a great rest of the weekend. Let me know if you have things that you have questions about, especially if you're looking at new products. We are the ones with answers for those. So yes, I mean everybody is kind of doing in that, and we will kind of probably be expanding our live offerings to include some of them so that they get some love in this group as well, so that they can share some of their knowledge because they have as much knowledge as what the two of us do. So, all right, guys, y'all have a great rest of your week. Try not to burn up. Try not to float away. Try to have a good week and enjoy your craft. So talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.